Sports betting brethren, hey, bring it up, and thanks for stopping by. My name is Boyd, and I'm a sports betting market analyst with OddsJam.com, where we teach you how to bet like a pro, using all the tools, all the resources, all the data-driven information at OddsJam, with just all about markets. And that's what today's topic is. We're going to talk about what are betting markets and the types of betting markets and understanding markets. And it's very critical, very important. So let's get started. All right, guys, here we go at the homepage of OddsJam. We're talking today about markets. What are markets? What are betting markets? Why are they important to understand and know? What we're going to do is we're going to jump into just kind of randomly an NBA slate of games. And you have mainline wagers, and mainline markets are things like moneyline, point spread, and totals like over-under. So those are mainline bets. And you can imagine also mainline bets in the NBA, certainly the NFL, college football, college basketball, NHL, things like that. You have a large volume of wagers coming in, compared to something that you might see in a market such as player props, futures, other betting possibilities. And again, your mainline markets are the highest volume, most bet games or events. And this is where the most money is. And so when you have an outlier in price, it means a little bit different on a mainline market bet than if you do, say, on a player prop. Okay, so you have your markets here. You have first quarter, first half. You have all these different. A market is a place where you can invest or have an ability to put a wager or a bet in on something. So you can bet on, first quarter team total. You can bet on player props. Player points, player made threes, rebounds. Those are all markets, and so those are markets that are not mainline. And mainline bets, mainline markets, of course, as we talked about, are these top three here. And basically that helps you identify what type of wager you might want to go forward with. If you're doing a mainline bet, you might have a higher bet size just because you have bigger data that you're working with. And that can be a little bit different if you're doing, say, a player prop. So all these are markets. All these are available places to wager. And as you can tell here, here's an opportunity to look at different choices, different alternative line markets. So you can plop in here and go to the point spread and ticket alternative lines. That's another market, sort of a very close relative of the mainline bets. I would compare them also to options, the options chain in stocks. So I mentioned, again, the mainline bets, the mainline wagers, that's an entity and a market in and of itself. And you have point spread alternative lines. And so this is a whole other market area that you can peruse and find opportunities to wager on. Like say you could take the Pelicans plus 10.5 at BetMGM, the price be minus 350, much better than taking that same bet at FanDuel at minus 450, right? Would you rather pay $350 or $450 for the same thing? So this is other markets and other alternative areas off of the mainline markets that you can get into. And I believe this is a good area, a really positive, good area to look for profits, because if you have a nice mainline market feel for what's going on here at this level, you can get a little bit deeper into it and sort of give yourself some insurance and some added points. Maybe less of a payout, but maybe more of a quote unquote safer bet in these alternative line markets. And so right after mainline bets, you have alternative lines. And then right after those, you get into the player props and the other alternative markets like the futures and things like that. Those you can imagine don't have as much volume. The sports books don't nearly have the volume on wagers coming in. Currently, it's a big market that's picking up. As I mentioned, player props markets are picking up, obviously, with the DFS. But yeah, as you can imagine, there's probably far less money with Trey Murphy's points total than the Georgia TCU national championship game, right? Or there's certainly far less people betting on Monte Morris's point total under 10.5 than you might see on an NBA half altogether. So these are all markets and all areas that you can wager. All right, guys, there you have a quick video on markets. And of course, a market is anything you can bet into, anything you can invest in, anything you can delve into with all the data at OddsJam. And of course, all the mainline bets, the alternative line mainline bets, to me have a different feel to them than if you would a player prop. If you're betting on a Anaheim Angels pitcher to have 5Ks on a Tuesday night against Seattle. That's completely different than you have a Sunday NFL game that's highly bet, highly watched, things like that. So just understand the markets, the differences, the volume that can go into those, and also the pricing variance that can go into those. So I think once you have a handle on the markets, kind of how you manage your bankroll with your strengths, you'll move along and do very, very well, kind of find your niche and find your favorite area. So anyway, free 7-day trial at OddsJam. Make sure you get that set up if you haven't already done so. Below, links below, and use that free 7-day trial to get all the positive EV, all the good stuff at OddsJam. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Let's go make some mathematical money.